যদি তোর ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে তবে একলা চলো রে, যদি তোর ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে তবে একলা চলো রে, তবে একলা চলো, একলা চলো, একলা চলো, একলা চলো রে, তবে একলা চলো, একলা চলো, একলা চলো।
Pearls of Wisdom, Minds Without Fear by Rabindranath Tagore.
Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free and the world has not been divided into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where the words come out from the depth of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit, where the mind is led by thee into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country awake. Thank you.
Good morning. Yes, you all have guessed it right. Today's assembly is to pay homage to the great writer, poet, composer, and Nobel laureate Rabindranath Tagore. Born on May 7, 1861, the Bard of Bengal, Rabindranath Tagore was the youngest son of Rabindranath Tagore, a leader of the Brahmo Samaj.
Rabindranath Tagore has inspired generations of people through his writings, music, poetry, and thoughts. His works were loved not only in India but across the world. His much acclaimed work Gitanjali was first published in 1910 and later translated and published into English in 1912, which won him the prestigious Nobel Prize in Literature in 1913 for his profoundly fresh, sensitive, and beautiful verses. Tagore was the first non-European to ever win a Nobel Prize.
Pratiksha, a student of class 11, is presenting small glimpses from Gurudev's life through a small video presentation for all of us to know more about him.
I, Pratiksha Ghosh, would like to present a video on Rabindranath Tagore. Rabindranath Tagore, known as Gurudev of Indian literature. Rabindranath Tagore was born to Devendranath Tagore and Sarada Devi in Calcutta, India in 1861. He was not sent to school. Instead, he was educated at home. But his curious mind didn't like four walls. At the age of 8, Rabindranath Tagore started writing poems in Bengali language. In 1873, Tagore toured India with his father Devendranath and studied various cultures and biographies. In 1878, Tagore was sent to University College of London to study law. But he left the college and started an independent study of Shakespeare's plays. In 1883, Rabindranath married Mrilanini and together they had 5 children, 2 sons and 3 daughters. In 1890, his collections of poems, Manasi, was released. The period between 1891 and 1895 proved to be fruitful, during which he authored a massive 3-volume collection of short stories called Galpa Guchha. He continued writing plays and poems. Rabindranath knew his art was meant for something much more. In 1910, Rabindranath published Gitanjali, a collection of 157 poems. It became extremely popular and Tagore became first Indian to win Nobel Prize in Literature. Rabindranath Tagore was an acclaimed artist and songwriter too. His songs are adopted as national anthem of India and Bangladesh.
একলা বলো রে যদি তোর দাক্ষিণিকেও না আসে তবে একলা চলো রে
Rabindranath Tagore spent the last 4 years of his life in illness and pain. He stayed in coma for long. During these years, whenever he was conscious, he wrote poems about coming close to death. Rabindranath Tagore wrote 75 verses, 20 songs, 13 novels, 80 stories and plays, 70 essays. He is regarded as Gurudev of Indian literature. It's very simple to be happy. It's very difficult to be simple by Rabindranath Tagore.
Thanks, Pratiksha. To remember Rabindranath Tagore on his 159th birth centenary, we have listed down some of his inspirational quotes, which are full of wisdom. I would like to invite Kashish, Bhumi, and Medhavi to present them for all of us.
You can't cross the sea merely by standing and staring at the water. Don't let yourself indulge in vain wishes. सिर्फ खड़े रहकर पानी को देखने से नदी पार नहीं करी जा सकती। व्यर्थ इच्छाओं में मत उलझो। I repeat, you can't cross the sea merely by standing and staring at the water. Don't let yourself indulge in vain wishes. Thank you and have a nice day.
According to Tagore, if you cry because the sun has gone out of our life, your tears will prevent you from seeing the stars. I repeat, if you cry because the sun has gone out of our life, your tears will prevent you from seeing the stars. अगर आप रोते हैं कि आपके जीवन से सूरज बाहर चला गया है, तो आपके आंसू आपको सितारों को भी देखने से रोकेंगे. Thank you.
Good morning everyone. My name is Medhavi Sharma and today I am going to speak up a quote written by Rabindranath Tagore. The small wisdom is like water in a glass, clear, transparent and pure. The great wisdom is like water in a sea, dark, mysterious, impenetrable. छोटा ज्ञान एक गिलास में पानी की तरह है, शुद्ध, पारदर्शी, स्पष्ट. महान ज्ञान समुद्र में पानी की तरह है, रहस्यमय, अभद्र, अंधेरा. Thank you and have a nice day.
Thanks Kashish, Bhumi and Medhavi.
गुरुवर का मानना था कि मानवीय चरित्र का गठन दर्शन एवं संस्कृति से मिली चेतना से होता है. मातृभूमि के प्रति प्रेम. उन्होंने कहा, मेरा घर सब जगह है, मैं उसे बड़ी उत्सुकता से तलाश रहा हूँ. मेरा देश भी सब जगह है, जिसे जीतने के लिए मैं लड़ूंगा. प्रत्येक घर में मेरा निकटतम संबंधी रहता है, जिसे मैं हर स्थान पर तलाश रहा हूँ. वसुदेव कुटुंबम, यही भारत का मूल मंत्र है.
His patriotism and love for the motherland could be seen in the subsequent verses, presented by Tanushri of class 10th.
Freedom from fear is the freedom I claim for you, my motherland. Freedom from the burden of the ages, bending your head, breaking your back, and blinding your eyes to the beckoning calls of the future. Freedom from the shackles of the slumber wherein you fasten yourself in the night stillness, mistrusting the star that speaks of truth's adventurous paths. Freedom from the anarchy of destiny. Whole sails are weakly yielded to the blind and uncertain winds, and a helm to a hand ever rigid and cold as death. Freedom from the insult of living in a puppet's world, where figures wait with patience and obedience for the master to be stirred into a mimicry of life. Freedom from fear is the freedom I claim for you, my motherland.
Thank you, Tanushri. The songs composed by Gurudev are known as Rabindra Sangeet. They are also known as Tagore's songs. They can be characterized by their distinctive rendition while singing which includes a significant amount of ornamentation like meend, murki, etc., and is filled with expressions of romanticism. Our school choir group is presenting a mosaic of one of the most popularly sung Tagore songs, Purano Shey Diner Kotha, Down the Memory Lane.
পুরানো সেই দিনের কথা ভুলবি কি রে হায়, ওসি চোখে দেখা প্রাণের কথা সে কি ভোলা যায়? আয় আরেকটি বার আয় রে সখা, প্রাণের মাঝে আয়, মোরা সুখের দুঃখের কথা কব, প্রাণ জোড়াবে তাই। Come to my mind, oh dear friend, come again to my soul. Let me tell the tale of sweet older days and take your story and toll. Come to my mind, oh dear friend, come again to my soul. Let me sweet older days, I take the story and মোরা ভোরের বেলায় ফুল তুলেছি, দুলেছি দোলায়, বাজিয়ে বাঁশি গান গেয়েছি বকুলের তলায়। হায় মাঝে হলো ছাড়াছাড়ি, গেলেম কে কোথায়, আবার দেখা যদি হলো সখা, প্রাণের মাঝে আয়।
Fragrance of flower used to say good morning, playground reminding we'll sing.
Fingers are reading with the magic stick through which the music is flying. You had forever look in your eyes, been far away for some time.
You come back, celebrate my missing moment. You are my dear, my pride.
All old times safe, oh you don't forget, down memory lane. Oh, as I visit, my heart is beating, every memory clean.
Though, in a sense, the main features of Tagore's dramas carry forward the traditions of the old Indian plays, there is no doubt that he was also influenced largely by certain trends in the modern drama of the West. At 20, he wrote his first drama opera, Valmiki Pratibha.
विपदाओं से मुझे बचाओ, यह प्रार्थना नहीं मेरी, पर कुछ इतना हो करुणा में कि विपदाओं में न पाऊं गए। दुख रात्रि में करे वंचना मेरी, जिस दिन हो निखिल मही, उस दिन कुछ ऐसा हो करुणा में कि तुम पर करुणा संशय कोई। मित्रान, अपने मन को भयमुक्त कर बंगला भाषा के महानतम कवि, चित्रकार, दार्शनिक, संगीतकार एवं नाटककार ने अपनी रचनाओं को जिन रंगों से अकेरा है वह बेजोड़ है।
Tagore's unflinching commitment for lofty, spiritual and noble values becomes distinctly lucid. As a dramatist, he not only perceives the world around him, but visualizes the future with great foresight. The problems he addresses in his plays are specific yet significantly general and universal. For example, his play Sacrifice. Published in 1890, this is one such play which holds a true mirror to socio-cultural and religious conditions, besides his deep insight into human nature. He dedicates this play to those audacious men who shed their blood for peace.
Know you all that I forbid shedding of blood in temples from today forever.
Order incurs a displeasure among many, including his near and dear. The queen, who wishes to please the goddess with the hope of getting a progeny. The religious mentor Raghupati, who never trusts his blind convictions, is anxious about the queen's vows. King Govinda feels that the decision to ban sacrifice is by virtue of providential will. Raghupati feels that the king has no rights whatsoever to alter the religious norms. But King Govinda feels that his decision is well considered and destined. He proclaims,
No more doubts and disputes. Go and spread my orders to all my land.
The conflict worsens when the queen decides to offer sacrifice, and as a result of the king's proclamation, the offering is declined. The queen feels insulted when she is being informed about the ban on sacrifice. She goes to the extent of questioning the jurisdiction of the king's power and states that he is not entitled to surpass his purview. She says,
Your dominion is outside the temple limit. Do not send your commands there where they are impertinent.
King Govinda asserts that the Brahmins have no legitimate right to violate the path by virtue, and it is his profound duty to protect the truth and righteousness. He argues,
Creature's blood is not the offering for God. It is within the rights of the king and the peasants, alike to maintain the truth and righteousness.
Tagore's Sacrifice is a critique written on meaningless religious rituals that questions the very existence of human values and so-called civilization. The other plays address certain concerns about false beliefs, blind orthodox, superficial shams of worship, religious hypocrisy, pseudo-sentiments, emotional exploitation, and senseless fanaticism.
Unlike other artists of this time, Tagore chose paper and not canvas as his medium. Neither did he make preparatory drawings, nor did his work fly directly from his mind to his brushes and then onto paper. His work evolved over time, and he moved from fantastical figures to elaborate landscapes. However, landscapes did not hold attention for much time, and soon Tagore started depicting people in his artwork. He started with dramatic scenes with multiple figures, as scholars believe that this was due to his influence by his background in theatre, presenting Purav Sharma as Gurudev at work.
Thou hast made me endless, such is thy pleasure. This frail vessel thou emptiest again and again, and fillest it ever with fresh life. This little flute of a reed thou hast carried over hills and dales, and hast breathed through it melodies eternally. At the immortal touch of thy hand, my little heart loses its limits in joy and gives birth to utterance ineffable. Thy infinite gifts come to me only on these small hands of mine. Ages pass, and still thou purest, and still there is hope within. Thank you.
Rabindranath Tagore's invention of an entirely new dance style, a liberated dance form, formulaic choreography, and narratives of classical Indian dance. Tagore advocated naturalistic rather than stylized expression, with the stated purpose of creating an aesthetic vehicle of conveying the drama of human emotional experiences. This time, Rabindra Nritya, the first ever modern dance of India, was and has been totally uncodified, relying on the creative impulse of the individual dancer interpreting poetical compositions. Meet Plaksha, Ayushi, Vanisha, Sejal, Bhumi, Arshia, Akansha, and Shambhavi are going to present a brilliant dance performance on the song composed by Kavi Rabindranath Tagore, Ekla Cholo Re.
যদি তোর ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে তবে একলা চলো রে যদি তোর ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে তবে একলা চলো
যদি তোর ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে তবে একলা চলো রে যদি তোর ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে তবে একলা চলো রে
যদি তোর ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে তবে একলা চলো রে যদি তোর ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে তবে একলা চলো রে তবে একলা চলো একলা চলো একলা চলো একলা চলো রে তবে একলা চলো একলা চলো একলা চলো একলা চলো রে काली घटा छाए उरे हो अंधेरा सच को निगल जाए जब दुनिया सारी डर के आगे सर अपना झुकाए जब दुनिया सारी डर के आगे सर अपना झुकाए तू शोला बन जा वो शोला बन जा जो खुद जल के जहां रोशन कर दे একলা জ্বলো রে जो खुद जल के जहां रोशन कर दे একলা জ্বলো রে যদি তোর ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে তবে একলা চলো যদি তোর ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে তবে একলা চলো রে
Greetings to everyone. I, Sanya Sharma, the head girl of Aravali International School, would like to present the vote of thanks. We are all experiencing what we had never even dreamt of. Undeniably, we are living in difficult times. But we, at Aravali, believe in innovating and creating new paths for our students to exhibit their inherent talent. And thus, the novel idea of an online form assembly came into being. To our immense happiness, our students participated with wild enthusiasm. The contribution was beyond expectation. Despite the fact that the pandemic has forced all of us to stay indoors, adapt to online classes, and social distancing, our students remained in a positive frame of mind and went out of their way to do their part. Special thanks to the parents who motivated, encouraged, and supported their children to showcase their skills. I would also like to take the opportunity to acknowledge our teachers who burned the midnight oil to give form structure and finesse to the assembly. Once again, I thank everyone for making this assembly a huge success.
But not the least, we hope everybody is staying at the safety and comfort of their homes and taking utmost precaution for themselves and their loved ones. This time will also pass and we all will come out victorious. क्योंकि मेरा भारत महान।
दिल से दुआ निकल आएगी दोस्तों, सिसकते होठों को घर हंसाया जाए। फर्ज इंसान का यही कहता है, आज डूबते को साहिल से लगाया जाए। जय हिंद।
जो खुद जल के जहां रोशन कर दे একলা জ্বলো রে যদি তোর ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে তবে একলা